Hello, I'm Rachel Rickard Straus, editor of Moneywise. I'm here today with John Forster, who co-manages the Impax Environmental Markets Trust. John, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's a growing trend that people don't just want their money to create profit for them, but they also want to do good with their money. Tell us how that works and where we've got to that, how we've got to that point.
Well, it's definitely, we've come a long way. I mean, I've been working in these markets for 19 years, and when I started, ethical investing was really a kind of fringe activity and didn't have any kind of profile. But over time, I think there's just a growing cohort of people who do care what their money is doing in addition to profit. And it's really been an evolution of ESG investing over time.
Mm-hmm. So we started at the very beginning, it was just screening out what's called, people call them sin stocks, right? So things like gambling or arms or tobacco.
Exactly.
And then we've moved on from there where people were saying, hang on, it's not good enough that I'm not just not doing bad with my money, but can I see the impact of what I'm doing as well?
No, exactly. It's this demanding investor, rightly so, to know, what is my money actually doing? What am I creating here? So I guess that's where the origins of impact investing have come from. And luckily we're able to sell to both audiences. We have this great growth story, and we also have this strong net environmental benefit that comes along for free.
And where do you think this is being driven from? Is there a particular type of person who's interested in these considerations as well, or?
We actually did a bit of research recently, so we conducted a study with YouGov because we were trying to understand the demographics of it. And the most surprising thing was that it wasn't just the millennials, which is where we thought the main interest was. That actually the interest was very strong, and kind of more than half of the 35 plus years old audience were also starting to care about it. So I don't think this is a flash in the pan. This is strong and broad interest across the population. So that's a great thing.
Often this conversation around whatever you call it, responsible impact, ethical investing, comes back to this question about doing good with your money and the profits, and whether there is some kind of weighing up to do. Can you have both at the same time? The success of Impax suggests that this is not really the case.
Yeah, we feel really strongly that people shouldn't see it as a choice of one or the other. You don't have to choose between having good performance and having a positive impact. We strongly believe that you can have lots of both. We firmly intend to outperform global equities over the long term.
And being able to measure impact is quite new.
It is, yeah. I think in earlier times, the data just wasn't there. The companies didn't know what people wanted to measure. They hadn't collected the data. It wasn't robust enough. But if you wind forward to today, a lot of the companies we invest in, they're collecting all the data of how much energy they're saving, how much water they're treating, how much materials they're recycling. So the data is available now, so we can calculate on a granular level exactly what these benefits are.
So just talk us through maybe a little bit more about impact. You say, you gave specifics there about the types of things that you can measure, but when we talk about impact, are there sort of a broad set of criteria, or how does it work?
Well, we first started by looking at CO2, which is obviously a contributing factor to climate change. We wanted to calculate a net CO2 saving. We established benchmarks for the different sectors. We worked out how much incremental saving we were doing in those sectors and calculated the net CO2 saved. So that was step one. And while we were doing it, we were thinking, well, what else are our companies doing? What are the other benefits they're providing? And we came out with water treated and supplied, materials recovered and recycled, renewable energy generated. That was the data. So we have comprehensive data on all of those.
That's pretty cool. As that an individual investor could point to tangible outcomes of their money beyond having more money for later life or retirement or cruises or whatever it is, but they can point to specific things like a reduction in CO2 emissions.
Yeah, I mean It's very useful, so an investor can literally say for the amount of money they've invested in the fund, how much CO2 have they saved, how many cars taken off the road would that triangulate to. So it really brings it home for investors. I think we were one of the first funds to do it, so it was quite progressive, and the investors really like it.